Welcome to Storied Audio. Marcus had never been the kind of man who needed noise to feel alive. He preferred quiet evenings, the low hum of a television, or the soft rhythm of conversation that didn't have to compete with music and strangers. So when he met Elena, whose laughter filled every room, he thought maybe she would pull him closer to a world he'd always stood just outside of. And she did. At first, their differences felt like balance. She dragged him out to crowded lounges and glowing rooftops. He brought her to quiet cafes and late-night walks where the city felt like it belonged only to them. She called him her calm. He called her his light. Somewhere in between they fell in love. But Elena didn't come alone. Her friends were always there, loud, inseparable, alive in a way that never stopped moving. To them, Marcus wasn't a person. He was a disruption. "He's changing you," one of them said one night, not even trying to hide it. Elena laughed. "He's not changing me. I just love being with him." Marcus held on to those words. He needed to. But the comments didn't stop. "He's trying to take you away from us." "That's not true," she insisted. Again and again. Still something shifted. She started going out more. Staying later. Coming home with a distance in her eyes that hadn't been there before. And Marcus told himself love meant patience. Meant trust. Even when it hurt. One evening he went to her apartment unannounced. He still had a key, the one she'd given him with a smile, telling him it was his home too. He let himself in quietly. The lights were on. Voices drifted from the kitchen, her friends. Laughter. Glasses clinking. He stepped forward, about to call out. "We're just trying to look out for you," someone said. Marcus froze. "He's not right for you, Elena. He used to be fun." His chest tightened. He didn't want to listen. But he couldn't move. Elena sighed softly. "I mean, he is nice," she said. Nice. The word hit him harder than anger ever could. "But," a friend pressed. There was a pause. A fragile, terrible pause where Marcus held his breath, silently begging for her to say something, anything, that would prove he hadn't imagined what they were. "Maybe, he is keeping me from going out like we used to," she admitted. "I don't know. I'll think about it." Something inside him gave way. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just a quiet collapse, like a ceiling caving in with no one around to hear it. He had been waiting for her to choose him. He didn't. He stepped back, careful, silent. The key in his pocket suddenly felt like something stolen. And then he left. The silence that followed felt unbearable. Elena called him. Texted him. "Where are you? Did I do something? Marcus, please." He stared at her messages, reading them over and over, but he couldn't bring himself to answer. Every word she sent felt disconnected from what he had heard. From what she had said. By the fourth day she showed up at his door. Her eyes were red, her expression a mix of anger and hurt. "What is wrong with you?" she demanded, pushing inside. "Why are you ignoring me?" Marcus closed the door slowly, his chest tight. "I came by your apartment," he said. She frowned. "When?" "A few nights ago." "You didn't hear me." The confusion on her face shifted slowly into something else. "I heard your friends," he continued. "And I heard you." Her lips parted, but no words came. "I heard them tell you I wasn't right for you," he said quietly. "And I heard you agree." "That's not," she started, but the words died in her throat. "As it was." "You said you'd think about it," he added. Tears filled her eyes. "They were pressuring me, I didn't mean." "You didn't defend me," he said. His voice didn't rise, but it broke anyway. "You didn't defend us." She looked at him like she wanted to fix it, like she didn't know how. "I love you," he said, the words heavy now, fragile. "But you stood there and let them convince you I'm something you need to escape from." "I don't feel that way," she whispered. He nodded faintly, like he wanted to believe her but couldn't anymore. He picked up a small box and placed it in her hands. "These are your things." Her fingers trembled around it. "You're ending this?" "I think you already did," he said. "You just didn't say it out loud." For a moment, everything in her face cracked. Pain, regret, fear. But she didn't fight. She turned and walked out, the door closing behind her like something final. That night her friends celebrated. They dressed her up, pulled her into the noise, the lights, the music. "You're free again," they cheered. But she didn't feel free. She felt hollow. The laughter sounded distant. The music too loud. Every moment felt wrong, like she didn't belong in her own life anymore. With Marcus, everything had felt steady. Safe. Now it all felt empty. Days turned into weeks and the emptiness only grew. Until one afternoon, sitting with her friends as they laughed about another night she barely remembered, something inside her finally broke. "You ruined it," she said. They stared at her. "You ruined my relationship," she continued, her voice shaking. "You kept telling me he wasn't right and I listened." "That's on you," one snapped. "We were helping." "No," she said, standing. "You didn't want me to change, so you made him the problem." Their faces hardened. And just like that they were gone too. A month later she stood outside Marcus's door, trembling. When he opened it, the sight of him nearly broke her. "I'm sorry," she said immediately, tears falling. "I'm so sorry." He let her in, but he didn't move closer. "I never cheated," she rushed. "I never even looked at anyone else. It was always you." He listened, silent. "I left them," she said. "All of them. I see it now. They pulled me away from something real. From you." Her voice cracked. "I miss you. I miss us. I miss who I was with you." Marcus exhaled slowly, pain still sitting heavy in his chest. "I never wanted to take you away from your friends," he said. "I just wanted you." "I know," she whispered. "I know now." She stepped closer, her hands shaking. "If you give me another chance, I'll choose you this time. I'll fight for us." For a long moment he just looked at her. The regret, the love, the heartbreak that mirrored his own. Then slowly he opened his arms. She collapsed into them, holding on like she was afraid to lose him again. "I won't let anyone come between us," she cried against him. And as he held her, Marcus realized something still hurt, but something finally had begun to heal. Subscribe to the channel for more audio stories.